Pittsburgh Steelers on a bye, on a break, away from the team. Matt Canada is not going anywhere. That's what rumors and reports and everything are saying. That's our expectations here. But everybody's asking about it. Jerry Dulac in his weekly chat for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette was asked who is a possible candidate to replace Matt Canada if he is no longer the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers after this season. Dulac acknowledged, I would not commit right now to Matt Canada not being there for however long you want him to not be there for, or when you want him to not be there any longer. But he did name a name. He dropped a name. Jon Gruden, friend, former coach, head coach to Mike Tomlin's defensive back coach in Tampa Bay as a possible replacement for Matt Canada. The last time Jon Gruden was an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and we all know Jon Gruden currently not in the NFL. Very alarming stuff, all that whole story. That's a whole other side conversation. Last time Jon Gruden was an OC in the NFL, 1997 for the Philadelphia Eagles. That team averaged 22 points per game. The Pittsburgh Steelers currently this season, 15.8 points per game. So if you're sitting around thinking Jon Gruden is a defensive coach and why would he be an offensive coordinator? Well, he proved to be maybe a little bit better than Matt Canada is currently. Your thoughts when you heard Jon Gruden, possible replacement, Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator next season?
This just seems like the wrong direction. I think if you're going to make an offensive coordinator change, it shouldn't be someone older, someone who, like you said, was last an offensive coordinator in the 1990s. I think if you're hiring a new offensive coordinator, it's got to be someone young, someone who is forward thinking, someone who can kind of keep up with how the NFL is changing, especially considering the fact that most of your offensive roster is really young, and it's going to be a unit that you have to build around for a while. I don't think you can look backwards with this hire. That's what I feel like hiring Jon Gruden would be. And that's purely from a football perspective. That's, like you said, ignoring all of the other extra baggage that Jon Gruden would bring with him to Pittsburgh. But yeah, this just, there's good experience there. I think it's, but I don't know if it's the kind of experience you want. And I think you would you have the world at your fingertips if you were the Pittsburgh Steelers looking for a new offensive coordinator. I don't know why you would limit yourself to someone like Jon Gruden, to, again, just someone who's I think the better parts of his career are behind him, quite honestly, as a coach. So it would be a weird hire in my opinion.
Yeah, it would be pretty spot on for Mike Tomlin. Like, it would be as Mike Tomlin of a move as Mike Tomlin moves come. I agree with that one, but I agree. Like, I don't think there's anybody out there. I don't think there's a single Pittsburgh Steelers fan or analyst or anybody who's sitting around going, you want to know who the Pittsburgh Steelers should hire? Jon Gruden. That should be. Why is nobody calling Jon Gruden? Why have we not talked about Jon Gruden? No, the conversation has been the same the entire time. Go out, get somebody young, call Kyle Shanahan and say, hey, buddy, who's left on this coaching staff? Who needs an offensive coordinator job that you would recommend? I'm about to hire him. Call Philadelphia, get whoever's operating their offensive line and or run game over there, get them to Pittsburgh. There's a million people that you could call that are younger, that are quarterback coaches in this league, that are running game coordinators in this league that you could just test out. Like, I get it. You tried to do that with Matt Canada, but you didn't do it the right way. Like, you brought Matt Canada on as a quarterback's coach. He didn't prove anything as a quarterback's coach. And then the next year you were like, you want to know what? This guy's an offensive coordinator. Let's get him over here. Let's promote him today. No, go get somebody who's proven. Go get somebody who works with a genius offensive staff right now, or a head coach or a coordinator already, who has just been molded and groomed into creating a great offense. Go get him. I think that's what everybody is talking about right now. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is sitting around going, man, that Mike Tomlin, Jon Gruden coaching staff would be incredible. Meanwhile, just to add some context here, Warren Sapp, former player for both of these guys, he couldn't handle it. On Jason Whitlock's show, who I got to say, I don't watch Jason Whitlock's show, but I saw the clip floating around out there. He was asked about the situation, and his quote is, I can't even tell you what John said. And then he just said, come on, not even close, which I would assume is a no. He's not going to take the job. I mean, I feel like if I'm Jon Gruden, I'm taking that job. Like if I'm offered an offensive coordinator job in Pittsburgh to go work with Mike Tomlin, I don't know a better opportunity that's going to come my way at this stage in my NFL career. If it's reversed and I'm Jon and I'm Jon's agent, yeah, I'm coming to Pittsburgh. No question. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm not calling Jon Gruden because there's just no point in calling Jon Gruden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what point John is at in his career. I think he like consulting with the Saints right now or something like that.
Is he?
I think so. Let me. I think this is. Yeah, he's. His Wikipedia says that he is consulting with the Saints right now. Um,
That's good enough.
but yeah. So like, this would obviously be a huge upgrade for him, especially at this point in his career, like you point out.
That's what I'm saying.
But like, yeah, if I'm from the Steelers, I just don't get why that would be your guy. You know, maybe he's a candidate, maybe someone you consider. I don't know. You bring him in for an interview or whatever. But like you said, like there are a million, young assistants working with good offensive teams right now that have. And like I said, you don't just need to take a chance on guys. Like there are enough guys out there that you can properly vet a pretty good candidate, and you can bring in a bunch of guys who are looking for their next big opportunity, and you will like kind of have your pick of the litter, like you
Yeah.
will be able to really find someone who's able to mold this offense in the image that you want, can develop a relationship with Kenny and George and Najee and the rest of the young players on this team and build something like long term, like I think I just think you're not looking very far down the road. Like Jon Gruden seems like a band-aid to a big issue that you have, and you have a chance to, by hiring someone younger and thinking a little bit further down the road, to repair the issues with these offense and build something sustainable. So like I think Jon Gruden sticks you in the mud, like it doesn't move you forward at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's I 100% agree. You're staying where you are. You're maybe going low risk. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
situation you're looking for, is a low risk, but I think low risk, low reward. Like there's no spark there. There's no nothing. You're going to get back to old Pittsburgh Steelers football. But if I had to make a guess, like if I was predicting this, Jerry Dulac always knows something. I always trust Jerry when he says something. This adds up to me. Like this is a move that if the offseason came and somebody said, "Hey, who do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers would hire as an offensive coordinator?" and the name Jon Gruden was floating around out there, because I would have never thought about that name. But it would have never crossed my mind. I would have started coming up with quarterback coaches and running back coaches and all these stuff around the NFL. Would have totally ignored Jon Gruden. If you told me, if the name Jon Gruden was floating around there and somebody asked me, "Hey, who do you believe the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers would be?" I would say there's probably a pretty good shot it's Jon Gruden, because that adds up, man. That's just, if Mike Tomlin is not a guy who takes risks, he's not a guy who makes splash. He doesn't do anything. He sits right here, and he's won a Super Bowl, so he's allowed to sit right here, I guess. But he's not. I don't see him going up from here. Like I just see him. This is the line that we stay on. This is the line we roll with. It has worked. It will continue to work. We're not going to go. And I don't think Jon Gruden raises the bar. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Jon
yeah, no.
Gruden allows Mike Tomlin to stay who Mike Tomlin is. He allows the Pittsburgh Steelers to be who the Pittsburgh Steelers are. And no doubt he's going to come in there and he's going to run the football. Like that's who the Pittsburgh Steelers want. That's what they want to happen. They want to be a running football team. Jon Gruden is a ground and pound old school head coach. That's just what it works out. Although 97, I guess that wouldn't be McNabb. McNabb's after that. I was going to say that's the McNabb. I don't even know who would be there beforehand, because that's before Peyton Manning. That's old.
Yeah, it's real old school, and I like what you said about low risk. I think that's probably what they would be aiming for if this is.
Yes.
But this isn't even like I think Bill O'Brien getting hired by the Patriots, that seemed like low risk to me.
Yes.
But that's at least a little bit, like at least Bill O'Brien had, had a little bit more relevant experience in this decade, like it was. Jon Gruden just is low risk, and I think none of the upside that you could hope for. Like I don't know, if you're looking for someone safe, I feel like there are options out there too that aren't just so. I don't know, so far removed from this era of NFL offense. I just think if you're looking to change the if you're looking to change this team's identity at all, if you're looking to like, make some progress and move forward, which is I feel like what they should be doing. This makes sense in a personality sense, like you said, for the Steelers and for Mike Tomlin, but from a football perspective, I just don't I don't get it at all.
No, me neither. Me neither. I'm going to toss out two names right now that I believe, and I'll do a deeper dive on this later in the week, probably tomorrow. Antoine Randall, okay,
Okay.
and Mike Kafka, quarterbacks coach for the Giants. Antoine Randall, wide receivers coach for the Lions. If either of them are getting jobs, then wow. Quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, shout out to Nick. Ty Detmer. Don't even know who that is. No idea who this is, but they scored more points than the Pittsburgh Steelers have this season, so
Credit to him.
good for them. Antoine Randall and Mike Kafka would be two candidates that I think are somewhat realistic for the Pittsburgh Steelers that they should go get. Not Jon Gruden. Don't believe Jon Gruden is one of them. Antoine Randall makes a lot of sense. Bring him back to Pittsburgh. That's a guy that worked with Mike Tomlin. I don't know if he played for Mike Tomlin, but he played for Bill Cowher, won a Super Bowl here, is doing good things over there. Might as well.
Yeah, shoot, the Lions look really good, and I don't think they have
Really
like
good.
overwhelming talent. Like Jared Goff was like former number one overall pick, but I don't think anyone looks at him like, oh yeah, you can throw anyone in. He can make any scheme work. He's that
Yeah.
talented. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is good, but like
Good.
they've made a bunch of like Josh Reynolds and not Josh Reynolds, but they have a bunch of receivers, and they've made pass catchers work in that offense that I don't think like they've done a lot with not a whole lot there in Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. Jameson Williams shows up and like in 4 plays he's in the end zone.
Yeah.
So that he knows what he's doing. He's developing good guys. That would be a name. I'll dive deeper into those throughout the week as I do a little bit more. But just off the top of my head, as I'm looking through coaches, those are two that certainly stand out to me.